Hello everybody and welcome to this video. Today I want to talk to you about dangerous driving. This game was released just a few days by the time of writing this for Windows, PS4 and Xbox One. It was developed by the creators of the Burnout series, and in fact this new title shares many similarities with it. For those who are not familiar with Burnout, the series is an arcade racer on open circuits with a focus on speed, boost and aggressive driving. Just like the third game of the old series, one of the most important features of the gameplay is the possibility of takedowns on competing cars, by intentionally colliding with them at high speeds. Even if you crash or get taken down, however, your car will always respawn on the track and there are no lives or damage meters. As a long-time fan of the series, I was excited to try this spiritual successor, so I bought it on my Xbox One X for the launch price of £24.99. with at least decent expectations. So let's start with the main features. The first thing that catches the eye is that they are absolutely bare bones. Just take a look. You have the tour mode and nothing else. For developers with that level of experience, it seems baffling that this career mode is the only option. I'm not even asking for a track editor or something more complicated, but at the very least, an option to make a custom race should have been mandatory for a game released in 2019. However, taking a look at the tour mode, there are at least several kinds of races. You have the standard race, of course, survival with no AI, in which you have to try and avoid crashing for as long as possible, elimination, where the last driver gets eliminated after every lap until there's only one left, pursuit, in which you play as a policeman needing to stop one or more cars. Then there is Shakedown and Shakedown Preview, time trial events that in the case of the latter give you a sneak peek of cars that you haven't unlocked yet. Heatwave, a race where you can't take down other cars and in which you can only use your boost after you fill the bar completely. Road Rage, where you need to take down as many cars as possible in a determined amount of time. And GP mode, which is simply a mini championship consisting of 3 races in different circuits. Finally, there is Face Off, a one-on-one duel against a faster car that you get as a prize in case of victory. As you notice, there are many, but not all are convincing, for reasons that I will explore later on. At least they do provide some variety to keep you engaged for longer play sessions. Immediately during your first race, you will notice another staggering omission. There is no in-game music. Yep, you heard that right, no pun intended. Apart from the main menu, there are no songs in the game. Another shame, as many Burnout games have great soundtracks. Now, I understand that music licensing can be expensive and challenging, especially for small development teams. But even low-budget indie games feature in-house soundtracks. An example, remember Crash Day? It was released more than 10 years ago, and despite being an indie title, it featured a fantastic rock and electronic soundtrack from various German artists. It's worth noting that developers did implement a sort of workaround. You can actually link your Spotify account, which is quite simple to do and only requires a few steps, so that you can listen to the playlists or albums of your choosing from the game, with the developers also providing a playlist themselves containing some great rock classics. That's good, right? Not really. First, you need to have a premium subscription to Spotify, which not everyone has. And second, well, you can already do this on your own with any player that you want, even on consoles, on any games that you want already. The only perk you get from linking your account is that you can control the music player from your controller and see the current playing track on screen. But since you can already do these things on PC, what's the point really? It just seems like a lazy excuse from the developers. The graphics are respectable for an indie title, and on the PS Pro and the Xbox One X consoles the game runs at 60 FPS, giving a great sense of speed and fluidity. However, it also seems to stutter on certain tracks, sometimes even for a few seconds straight, so it isn't a perfect lock like you will find on Forza Motorsport titles, for example. Fortunately, this doesn't happen too often. It is worth noting, however, that on base consoles the game runs at 30 FPS instead. The music, as I said, is non-existent, but the sound design is good, although the engine sounds aren't anything special. Unfortunately, during crashes I often heard clicks and pops, but this is more of an implementation or game engine problem rather than the design in itself. Let's focus on the gameplay in itself now, which is always, in my opinion, the biggest part of any game. Unfortunately, it's a mixed bag. Now, I would need to take a very long time to explain all the faults of the gameplay, so I will try to focus only on certain things. The good thing is that at its very core, it does feel like an old-school Burnout game, but at the same time, it doesn't include anything new at all. I know that a game like this doesn't necessarily need to innovate the genre, but at this point, why play this title rather than Burnout 3, which, while older, actually contains more features? Then there is the handling, which feels smooth during certain moments and very sluggish in others. Also, changing car class doesn't feel like changing anything, apart from slightly different camera angles, of which there are only 2. In theory, they should have different values of speed, acceleration, handling and robustness, values that you can't actually compare, by the way. But apart from very, very slight changes, they feel almost exactly the same. Seriously, how can a Formula 1 car have the same aerodynamics and handling as an SUV? Additionally, car customization is very poor, with only the ability to randomly change color preset and no custom options. But now let me talk about the biggest problem of all, the rubber banding AI. Let me tell you, the AI in this game is incredibly frustrating, and I really can't stress this enough. During races, even after taking down the entire opposition with a full boost and earning what you would think is an enormous advantage, the other drivers will mysteriously appear right behind you, waiting to take advantage of the slightest mistake that you make. As soon as you crash, you will find yourself in 4th place or lower. You feel even more cheated when you see that there is no rear view mirror, so the game could simply teleport the other cars without you having any way of knowing. And when you lose a race at the last corner after dominating it entirely, you will become very frustrated. Now wait a second, you might think, well, this happens in real life as well, with even experienced drivers losing races at the last second. That is true, but remember that this is supposed to be an arcade racer, not a simulation. If I wanted a race sim or a simcade, I would play something else. Again, this is a very lazy decision by the developers that instead of offering an actual challenge with competitive AI, they made mediocre AI that will randomly screw you at every opportunity with artificial boosts. And yes, Mario Kart also has rubber banding AI, but even there, it is not as strong as over here, and that is supposed to be a party game played mostly with friends, where everyone must have a chance to catch up and win. This is not a party kart game. And you want to know another thing that is very annoying? The fact that in GP mode, you can't restart the current race. That's right, if you press retry at any point, even on race 3 out of 3, you will restart from the first race of the championship. That's crazy. Why can't I just restart the current race? Why punish the players so harshly? And if I want to nitpick, look at this. Player, driver 1, driver 2, they couldn't even implement AI names? Again, that is just lazy. There are also no difficulty options, so good luck if you want an easier or harder challenge. Then there is no multiplayer mode, not even split screen. However, the devs did announce that the free DLC with online multiplayer will be released next month. And there is no crash mode, which was arguably one of the funniest from the Burnout series. Hopefully this will be released later for free as well. I have also encountered a substantial number of bugs and glitches, such as the car suddenly twisting on the other side for no reason, hitting invisible pixels resulting in a car crash, and even the game itself soft locking and crashing to the dashboard a few seconds later. So, in conclusion, the game is slightly disappointing, as I would have expected much more from experienced developers. The gameplay core still provides a couple of hours of fun, but the very limited options, the frustrating AI, the sluggish handling, and the technical issues hinder this game from what could have been so much more. It's not a terrible game by any means, but honestly I would recommend waiting for a sale and a few patches that might fix a few of the most serious quirks. As always, I would love to hear what you think, so feel free to leave a comment, and if you enjoyed this review, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and I will see you next time.